Hello, everybody. Joe Bag Donuts here, and welcome back for another episode of Umineko. It's been like a day and a half, 2 days since I last recorded. I'm losing my concept of time once again. That's mainly my fault. I haven't been home very often these past couple days. I'm off house sitting and dog watching for some friends. But you know, it's 4 in the morning right now. I took a nap yesterday afternoon at like 11. That was a mistake because I woke up at like 7 p.m. Oops. It was real comfy on the couch. I was watching a nature documentary narrated by Obama. And, you know, just his dulcet, bassy tones just lulled me to sleep, talking about Yellowstone and all sorts of national parks around the world. It was a good documentary. I liked it for the parts I was awake for. Anyway, I just finished devouring a 10-inch gobbler from Wawa. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. But if you're from, like the Pennsylvania Delmarva? I don't know. I think that's it. I'm not native to the region. I don't know the colloquial terms for this region of the country, but if you know, you know. It's that time of year. Anyway, what happened last time? Shenanigans are afoot, magic, letters, the servants and Maria were banished from the study, the so-called safe space, but we'll see who's really safe right now once I click on the right screen, so that way when I hit enter it actually does something instead of doing some weird thing in OBS. After we chased them out, nobody said another word. We had exiled all of the suspicious ones. Even though we had known that there might be some innocents among them, we had exiled them all the same. We had chased them out of this paradise, where people didn't have to doubt each other. However, our motive for chasing them out had been suspicion of our fellow man, the worst kind of crime for a human. I don't know, man, I can think of some pretty worse things to do besides being suspicious of people. If we had been able to accept the existence of a 19th person, of the witch, then we might still be talking face to face, trusting in each other. In that instant, we had agreed to chase out all of the suspicious people. But had that been the right thing to do? I don't know, man. During this endless silence, we could do nothing but be quietly tormented by that sin. Natsuhi was facing the door, seated all the way in the back in her sofa, not letting go of her rifle for even an instant. She'd probably spend the night staring at the door without a wink of sleep. Yeah, adrenaline's a fucking bitch of a drug. George Aniki was gazing through a gap in the closed curtains by the window, looking down at the courtyard and the mansion that surrounded it. Whether he was checking to see if any suspicious shadows would become visible through the window, or whether he was engaged in some deep internal conversation, I couldn't tell. Or he could just be spaced out. I'm really good at that. I can just turn off my brain and just sit there for like 9 hours straight doing nothing, just listening to like the static of my mind. Jessica was sitting at an angle on the sofa next to Aunt Natsuki's, with a dead expression on her face. And every once in a while, as though she just remembered something, she would take out the inhaler that she had used during her asthma attack and stick it in her mouth. I'd heard it from Aniki, but apparently Jessica liked Kanen-kun. Yeah, it seems to be that way. It seemed that it was such a vague thing that she hadn't realized it herself. You know, it's the kind of thing that other people tend to spot before the person in question realizes it. In that case, she might have first learned of her feelings when the person she liked died. It was truly pitiful and sad. Come to think of it, Kanen-kun had been the one to hand her that inhaler. Maybe she was remembering that. As for me, I was fishing around Grandfather's study, thinking I had to research the meaning of the magic circle on the second sheet of the paper. Even though we were shut up here in a defensive position, my rebellious nature made me want to keep up the offensive and find some key to all this. We have plenty of time until tomorrow morning anyway. No matter what I do with that time, no one can find fault with it. No one else showed that much interest in this magic circle. Its meaning was unknown, and once we understood it, we were sure to find some message that would cause us unnecessary anguish. Some nice alliteration there. They also agreed about this. However, I still couldn't let it go, so I kill time pretending to research it.
熱心だね。何か手がかりになるようなことは見つけられたかい？
さっぱりさ。そもそも日本語で書かれた本を探すことからして骨だぜ。
Yeah, I was about to say, how many, like, ancient Western occult books are written in Japanese?
じいさまは一体何カ国語を読めたってんだ。大したもんだぜ。
バトラ君は眠くないの？誰かが起きていてくれてるうちに休んだ方がいいよ。
I mean, if they're European languages, once you learn something, like, a romance language and, like, I don't know, a Germanic one. I was gonna say English, but I've mentioned this before. English is like a weird fucking hodgepodge language where it's like broken up to like a third of it's Romance, a third of it's German, and a third of it's like Nordic Scandinavian. Compared to some more direct ones like actual German and like Dutch or something. But once you get like a basis, like a good foundation there, it's a lot easier to branch out and learn like the cousin languages.
夏日おばさんは寝ズバンをしてくれると言ってるけど、体が持つわけない。ローテーションで休んだ方がいいよ。
じゃあ
I
兄
used
貴
to
が
be
先
pretty
に
good
休
at
めよ。
Latin. I took it for 3 years in high school, but
俺は眠気が来るまでちょいと調べ物をしてる
yeah,
さ。
that's been like a decade ago.
さっきの魔法陣？
まあな、どうせ時間は腐るほどあるさ。ベアトリーチェ様がどういうメッセージを込めやがったのか、面白そうだと思ってよ。
よせよ。
Yeah, no point like stressing yourself out.
そういうのやってると妙なのに取りつかれちま
Also,
うぜ。
creepy magic books.
安心しろよ。俺はマリアにお墨付きをもらってるぜ。俺には霊的才能は活気しなんだよ。
マリアのこと邪険にしすぎたかな。
Nah, fuck Maria.
ジェシカ、
Creepy little brat.
今はそれを考えてはなりません。
でも母さん、もしもマリアが無関係で犯人が他にいたなら、犯人は襲いやすい相手を狙うに決まってる。
Man, fuck them kids.
それで殺されたなら私たちは
Yep.
見殺しにしたことになるよ。
Gloomy silence settled once again. Looked like Jessica regretted that she'd let her emotions take hold of her and snapped on Maria. She always was like that. Always acting tough, went too far, and regretted it later.
気持ちはわかりますが、マリアは犯人と接触し、
Yeah, she could be an unwitting collaborator.
こともあろうか、その肩を持つように煙に巻く発言を繰り返しています。私はこの部屋から追い出せて清々しています。
夏日おばさんって結構きついっすね。9歳の女の子のザレ言かもしれないじゃないっすか。
Even I thought I was being brazen saying that. I myself thought Maria was creepy on several occasions today, and had doubted her true nature. And when Maria had been chased out of this room, I couldn't deny that I'd felt some relief.
もしそうだったなら、明日謝罪します。彼らをこの部屋から追い出したのは全て私の責任です。だから、あなたたちが気に病むことは
I
ないの
mean,
です。
once this whole matter is over with, you probably wouldn't see them anyway. They'd probably put in their resignations and go do something else. I don't think they would be able to remain working here with the history that's now been established the past couple days. I could feel a tragic determination in Aunt Natsuhi's words. To protect her own daughter, she would resolutely chase out the suspicious ones. And if, as a result, she had left to die those people who had the misfortune to be suspected, so be it. She was prepared to take full responsibility.
なんでマリアってあんなことばかり言うんだよ。自分で自分の首を絞めてるぜ。
もともとマリアちゃんが魔女や魔法に傾倒するようになったのは、僕はローザおばさんのせいじゃないかと思ってる。
ローザおばさんのせい？何がどう関係してるってんだよ。
バトラ君だって気づいてるんじゃないかい。マリアちゃんの本当の父親はずいぶん昔に蒸発してるんだ。
Yeah.
おばさんはそれを海外出張とか言って ごまかしているけどね。
It seemed to be that way. Maria does exhibit rather a fatherless behavior.
後ろ宮家ではローザさんたちに関わる話はタブーとされているところがあります。
おばさんは再婚だって考えたと思うよ。でもマリアちゃんの存在が枷になって非常に難しかったんじゃないかと思うんだ。
Why?
だっておばさんは時折
Oh, is it a creepy little shit?
ものすごく感情的にマリアちゃんに当たっていたから。
それについては同感だぜ。
Yeah, she kind of like fucking ground pounded her daughter
ローザおば
in the
さんは
garden.
マリアを好きになろうと努力してるように見えた。ってことはつまり好きじゃないってことなんだよな。再婚の妨げになっているマリアに思うところがあったんだろうよ。
母親の感情的な拒絶がきっと彼女の幼い心に深い傷を残したと思うんだ。
Yeah.
そして
Kids are
どこか
sensitive
で
to those
オ
kind
カ
of
ルト趣
things.
味と出会い心の隙間を埋めるように没頭していく。知ってるかい？マリアちゃんにとって魔女のイメージは決してネガティブなものじゃないんだよ。
I mean, it appears that way.
ほら昨日海岸でマリアちゃんのノートを見せてもらわなかったかい？
ああ、なんだか楽しそうな落書きでいっぱいだったぜ。
Yesterday, we had doubted the witch down by the beach. Maria had gotten all riled up and started explaining about witches. And on one of the pages had shown a picture of an ugly witch. They were all brightly colored, beautiful, cute witches who looked like they were having fun. There was absolutely nothing sinister about them, like the boy might have imagined. They were being adorned with beautiful dresses, who could grant anybody's dreams with their mysterious magic and who made everyone happy. The sorrow of not being loved by her mother. Had Maria sought salvation from the witches as beings who could save her from that sorrow and make her happy? Someday a witch would come, and using her wonderful magic, would bring Maria happiness. Even though she believed that, as she grew older, she had to face reality as her fleeting dreams were sliced to ribbons one by one. If, in front of a girl like that, someone claimed to be the Witch of Rokinjima appeared, and whispered that she would take Maria to the Golden Land, where Maria could be happy.
僕は今頃になって胸中を告白するよ。
Alright, if we're putting everything out on the table.
マリアちゃんを、いや源氏さんたちを追い出したのは多分
You think it was too much?
いけないことだったんじゃないかな。
気まずくはあるぜ。
Since Jessica had been the one to face them and slam them with words of rejection, her conscience must be tormenting her a lot right now.
なら皆さんはあの手紙をどう説明するのですか？私の後ろにいた4人以外の誰にも置くことはできなかった。それは私がこの目ではっきり確認しています。
Mm-hmm.
あの4人が潔白だというなら、どうやってこの密室の8人もの人間がいる中で手紙を置けたというのですか？
The wizard did it.
そうなんだよ。その話が始まっちまうと確かに4人は怪しいってことになっちまう。だが全然ダメなんだ。ああ、全然ダメだぜ。
ダメって何が
Yeah,
だ
what are
い？
you talking about?
ああ、もう今さら何の役にも立たないかもしれねえが、またチェス盤をひっくり返させてくれ。
Alright, give us your angle.
つまりあの4人が本当に犯人だってんならよ、おかしいんだよ。
What? Yeah, because it casts a spotlight right onto them.
そうだぜ。あんなテーブルの上に堂々と置いたら、この中に犯人がいますよと告白するようなもんじゃねえか。そうだよ。
Unless they're
お
trying
か
to
し
break up the groups that way, they're easier picking.
い。やるなら、例えば扉の隙間に置いて廊下側から差し込まれたように見せかけるとか。そうだよ。部屋の外に犯人がいるように見せかけなきゃ、自
Yep,
分が疑われてしまうことが分かってたはず。
pretty sus.
ああ、そういうことなんだ。あの4人の中に犯人がいたとして、テーブルのど真ん中に手紙をポンと置くことはリスクばかりで何の意味もないんだ。だがどうやってそこに手紙を置いたかのトリックは置いといて。
Yeah, the the how is a pretty important piece of this puzzle.
あの4人以外の誰か、すなわちこの部屋の外に犯人がいたと仮定したとき、あの手紙には大きな意味が生まれる。
Like, yes, the why is
よ
important,
しなさい
but
バトラ君。
the mechanics of it is, you know,
今さら些細な問題です。
from what we can see, it doesn't seem possible to have been somebody else. Natsuhi quickly guessed what I was getting at. No, maybe she had thought of it long before I had, and had simply held her tongue.
この部屋の外に犯人がいて、俺たちが外からは手出しをできない密室に立てこもっちまったらお手上げだ。ああ、そうだよ。この部屋からじいさまがいなくなったって話の時、俺が披露した説じゃねえか。じいさまが自分から出ていくという説。自分から出ていくような何かの細工を犯人がして、まんまと外へおびき出していたのだとしたら。
Come to think of it, even Maria had said it when we found the scorpion magic circling the doorknob to the study. Beatrice couldn't get through this door. She might be able to induce someone to leave of their own accord.
だとすると私たちは犯人の罠に見
Yeah,
事
you
は
just
ま
threw
っ
him out to the wolves.
て新しい生贄候補を送り出しちまったことになるぜ。
Yep.
源氏たちもバカではありません。身を守ろうと思うならこの部屋の次に安全な場所をすぐに思いつくでしょう。そこできっと身を潜めています。
Natsuhi hadn't answered the question. She herself realized that if the culprit wasn't in that group, that letter could easily have been a trap. There we go. I was putting the have before the easily, but then I saw have again, and it just melted my brain, like fucking just right out of my ears. However, it wasn't worth the risk of calling back the people that she had once thrown out. To Aunt Natsuhi, right now, her greatest and only duty was to protect the children. Think of the kids! And to that end, she was thinking, a few sacrifices may be an unfortunate necessity.
なあ、夏日おばさん、きついこと聞くぜ。もしあの時、たまたまジェシカもおばさんの後ろにいたなら、おばさんはこの部屋からジェシカも追い出してたかい？確かに残酷なところはあったかもしれない。でも夏日おばさんは母として娘を守りきろうと思った。その責務から自分がやがては糾弾されることを覚悟で彼らを追
Usually
放
not
し
a
たん
big
だ。
fan of hypotheticals, but good to think about here.
俺は別にそれを責めてえわけじゃねえ。ただそのジェシカはいいおふくろを持ったなってそう思ったのさ。
そうだね。夏日おばさんは朝からずっと続いているこんな事件の中でも冷静さを失わず、ずっとみんなを牽引してきてくれた。
She's lost her composure a couple times, but
もしおばさんま
you
で
know,
混
she
乱
hasn't
してい
shot
たら
anyone yet, so that's good.
僕たちは今頃全員犯人の手にかかっていたかもしれない。だから僕たちはおばさんに感謝しなくちゃいけないと思う。
ありがとう。
バトラたちの言いたいことはつまりこういうことだろ
What?
う。マリアの母でもあってほしいって。私マリアのことを実の妹みたいだとずっと思って可愛がってきた。
Nah, man, like I said, fuck them kids.
なのにいろんなことがあってちょっと混乱しちゃって。
Yeah, emotions are running high
ひどいことを
today.
たくさん言って傷つけてしまった。母さんお願いだよ。マリアもみんなも一緒にいようよ。私たちの中に犯人なんていなかったんだよ。この事件の犯人は魔女のベアトリーチェでいいじゃないか。だからもう
Gonna squat up and go get him back. Anasi closed her eyes for a short while. She was coping with her throbbing headache. Was she coping with her throbbing headache again? Or was she thinking of something?
ジェシカは主人と結婚してから12年もかけてようやく授かった。 返す。私はジェシカを守るためなら どのような鬼にでもなります。
Mother Bear. That was some pretty strong language at the end there. She realized very well that these were only words. But even so, she was strongly resolved to protect her daughter, even if she had to become a demon. But that was because she was tormented by guilt. Today had been so long. So many things had happened in one day, that we had been put under such pressure. I wonder if we have the right to greet tomorrow the way we are now. There it is.
見つけた。この魔法陣だ。
Within the books that I had been constantly flipping through, I had finally found the same magic circle that had been drawn on the second sheet of the letter. Was it? This is the Triforce symbol? George Anarchy peered at it as well. The magic circle's name was the Third Magic Circle of Mars. The Hebrew written on it was from the Old Testament's Book of Psalms, Psalm 77, verse 1-3. What God is so great as our God? The meaning of the magic circle was discord. It agitates internal divisions and causes the enemy to bring about their own downfall. Will?
おいおい。
Fucking played.
マジかよ。
Could be a more fitting way to describe her current situation and mental state? Couldn't help but be stunned into silence.
じゃあこの手紙は
Yes.
罠だってのかよ。どうやってここに置いたんだよ。この部屋には私たち8人以外には誰もいなかったんだぜ。
とにかくどうやってここに置いたのか、その方法は捨ておくぜ。とにかく、犯人の狙いはたった一つ。
Break up the group.
この鉄壁の書斎に疑心暗鬼を引き起こして、生贄の羊を俺たちの手で外へ放り出させることだったんだ。
だとしたら狙いは外へ出された人たちだ。
There's three more. I think the gouge the stomach, gouge the knee, and gouge the leg. And oh, what do you know? There's 4 out there, and I don't see Maria being the one to get got, because she seems to be right hand man.
どうしよう。あの4人が危ない。
Well, good thing there's 2 big old suit of armors right there, and you got 2 strong, strapping young lads who can, hop in those real quick. I wasn't surprised that Natsuhi remained unpleasantly silent. Even if it all was a trap by the culprit, even if the 4 of who had been chased out of the room were in danger, it had nothing to do with the safety of the 4 people in here. There was no way to prove the innocence of the 4 people that we had kicked out. If we're willing to let them die, we shouldn't leave this room no matter what. That way is safest. Just then, all of a sudden, the piercing sound of a phone rang through the room. It was the antique extension phone that was set on Grandfather's study desk. It started ringing right when we began this conversation. It was only natural that we would think it was an SOS from the others that we'd kicked out. Then Natsuhi spoke.
どうして電話が
Oh, is it not even hooked up?
故障していて使えないはずなのに。
Oh yeah, the phone lines are down. That's like what kicked off this whole thing.
そんなことは関係ねえさ。もしマリアたちが助けを求める電話だったら。
そもそも電話の普通が犯人の工作によるものならば、この電話おそらく。
But that one sentence, the ring of the phone, which had sounded like a scream for help, started to sound like a ghastly summons from some unknown person. Natsuhi hesitated over whether to pick up the receiver.
トロおばさん、何かの理由で電話が回復したのかも。マリアちゃんたちからの緊急の電話の可能性もある。
そうだぜ。それに万一犯人からの電話だったら上等さ。話を聞いてやろうじゃねえか。それにどうせ電話だ。
Yeah.
受話器越しに何をほざい
It's
た
not
っ
like they can
て
fucking
痛くも
stab
痒
you
く
over
も
the
ないぜ。
phone, I hope.
おばさんが取らないなら俺が取るぜ。
Hi, mush
私が
mush,
取ります。
battler des.
もしもし。
I stretched out my hand to take the receiver, but Natsuhi picked it up first as if to say she had it under control. We all held our breath, trying to figure out who the person on the other end of the phone was. But for a while, Natsuhi just kept saying, "Hello." Silent phone call? There's no way Maria and the others would do something so creepy. Which means this phone call, like, it possibly, really... Natsuhi stopped repeating hello and strained her ears. Because she thought she heard something far away on the other end of the receiver. What was it?
歌
Oh, that's creepy.
歌って、何ですか、おばさん。
わかりません。電話の向こうでかすかに誰かが歌っているのが聞こえます。
Maybe they're just back in the parlor and Maria left the TV on.
何のことやら。
ちょっと受話器を借りますぜ。もしもし。
Yeah, you're young and probably have good ears. Unlike me. Surprisingly, my hearing is, like, not deteriorating at all over the past couple years, which is impressive considering I've slept under running jet engines before. Did I read that line? I don't think I did. I think I was too busy rambling. I half forced the receiver from the stunned Natsuhi's hand and pressed it against my ear. At first, I didn't hear anything. But, because I'd been told about it beforehand, I noticed. Not in a quiet voice, but rather far away from the receiver. I could hear a girl singing a song. The voice sort of sounded like Maria's. That just made the situation even more inexplicable. At the very least, the one who had made the phone call hadn't been Maria. After all, Maria was singing some song far away from the receiver. In that case, the one who made the phone call should have been Genji-san, Kumasawa-san, or Dr. Nanjo. And yet, they weren't saying anything. Why? For what reason? Who was the person that made this phone call?
おい、もしもし、誰だ、返事をしろ。歌ってるのはマリアなのか。返事をしてくれ。
何が起こってんだよ。どういうことだ。
わからねえ。
Oh yeah, speaking of hearing damage, I also had like a rifle blast go off next to my head a couple times. It's when I was in the honor guard, there wasn't enough room on like this this walkway we were on because it was like right up against a big glass wall where they're having the service inside. So we had to stand like diagonally, which I thought was great. I'm like, I'm so smart for making this plan as I'm stood in the middle. Then as we're going through our movements, I'm like, wait a second, that's a rifle barrel right next to my head and just blah! And of course, because we're right up against the wall too, the sound reflected off and hit me again. So then I had to go inside and hand the rifle shells over to the widow. Except she was trying to tell me something, and I just could not hear her. It sounded like my head was in a fishbowl. It's just like the movies, just a noise, like after the main character's in an explosion.
一つ言えることは、多分これは罠で。
So once she was done talking, I just kind of like gave her a silent nod, and then like stood up, did my salute, and walked away. Natsuhi took the receiver again, but after calling into it several more times, she realized that she wasn't getting anywhere and hung up. She then dialed quickly, clucked her tongue. Alright, the phones are back. She'll be able to reach the police. Judging by her reaction, the outside line still wouldn't connect.
行こう。罠かもしれないことは分かってても、行かないわけにはいかない。
ああ、まったくだぜ。ジェシカと夏井おばさんはここにいてくれ。
Aniki and I tried to dash out. Natsuhi stopped us.
お待ちなさい。あなたたちだけに行かせるわけにはいきません。私も行きます。ジェシカはここで待ちなさい。
私だけのけ
Yeah,
者
no,
かよ。
fuck that.
冗談じゃない。私も行くぜ。
そうだな。その方電話が俺たちをさらに分散させる狙いがあるってんなら、留守番を残すのは適当じゃねえ。
議論する暇も惜しい。みんなで行こう。
Natsuhi raised the rifle high and took the lead. I needed a weapon myself as well. I found a three-pronged candelabra, just like it could be used for some strange ritual, and armed myself with it. With the spikes it had to fit the candles on, although they were short, it was almost like a three-pronged spear. plenty of fucking booze bottles you just smack on the table and, like, you know, feel like you're ready for a bar fight. And the four of us left the study. Left the study, which should have been the safest place inside the mansion. And so we had been lured out, despite the fact that we had barricaded ourselves in a safe, locked room. And perhaps we were even repeating exactly the same series of events that had led grandfathers disappearing from there.
Maria! どこにいるんだよ! 返事をしろ!
I listened closely, but I couldn't hear anything. The mansion was vast, and the sound of the rain even noisier than before, as if the passing typhoon was making its last stand.
マリアちゃんは確か客までテレビを見たいと言ってたよね。階下に降りてみよう。
そうですね。
That's kind of this is a weird angle for the character sprites. I don't like it. It makes them look like they're shoulder high, up to like midway up the door.
行ってみましょう。みんなは周りに用心して。
おい
With Natsuhi in the center, her rifle readied and her finger on the trigger, we moved in a group, our backs together, checking our surroundings in all directions. So the power of the magic circle designed to spread discourse had brought it all into being. We had split up, furthermore, and dragged into dangerous territory. In other words, even now in this very moment, we were doing just what the culprit wanted us to do. This was now a strange space that wouldn't be odd for anything to suddenly occur. Natsuhi nervously pointed the barrel of the gun into every dark spot and shadow. Felt like the motion was out of fear rather than caution. But the rifle she held in her hand would surely also be our trump card that the killer was afraid of.
僕はずっと思ってたんだ。カノン君のように胸にあのアイスピックを突き刺すことは不可能ではないと思う。でも母さんたちのように
Yeah, that's
頭
pretty.
蓋骨を打ち抜いて眉間に突き立てるなんて簡単なことじゃないと思うんだ。
I mean, it's a point, so not impossible, but you would need to fucking wind it up.
犯人はそれだけバカ力ってことか。
多分あのアイスピックを飛ばす、あるいは打ち込む射出機のような
Yo,
武器がある
culprit's
んだ
got
よ。
like a pile bunker?
人力だけであれだけ深々と刺突するにはあの絵は短すぎる。
いずれにせよ、頭蓋骨を打ち抜くほど
Or
に
like
強
a
力です。
crossbow?
カノンの傷も肺にまで届いていたそうです。もし相手の姿を見ても決して前に出ないように。私の後ろから出てはいけませんよ。
Just how sinister and frightening was this weapon that could shoot those creepy ice picks? Could I do anything in combat with just this candlestick in my hand? I mean, it's gotta have like a reload period, so, you know, after the first shot, you just gotta rush them down. I've watched that police training tape, like fucking... Oh god, was it? You can watch the Red Letter Media episode on it, something bladed weapons, yada yada. No wonder fucking cops are so paranoid and just blast everyone away. They have to watch shit like that. In the first murder, the culprit had probably assaulted 4 of our parents at once as they had discussed the inheritance problem in the dining hall. And we also had 4 people. Apparently, I wasn't the only person thinking this. George Aniki, Jessica, and of course, Natsuhi, were stretching their senses to the utmost limit in the highest and worst state of tension, slowly advancing one step, then another. Ah, what sinful people are we? Well, as terrifying as this, we pushed Maria and the rest right into the middle of it, just because the seeds of doubt spread by that single letter. We finally reached the first floor. The parlor was just across the hall. When we listened carefully, we could hear it faintly. Maria's eerie singing voice. She wasn't singing naturally, as though she were in a good mood. She was singing mechanically, as if she was in music class in school and been ordered to sing. The song she was singing was a common folk song, one that everyone has probably sung in school at one point or another. Hate to say, but I'm not a Japanese kid in the 80s, so, not me, bud. Why that? In the middle of the night, alone, with all her heart, over and over. Why? When we had just left the study, we had called out in loud voices asking Maria where she was. But this time, no one said even a single word. We taken our breath and the sound of our footsteps, heightened all of our senses, and examined everywhere around us in a neurological degree. To a neurological degree. We advanced each step. The door to the parlor was closed, but we could hear Maria singing through it. Natsuhi put her hand on the handle of the doorknob. Georgianiki stopped her.
扉は僕が開ける。夏日おばさんとバトラ君は武器を構えてて。
わかりました。
Careful, I watched Home Alone.
気をつけて。
開けると同時に攻撃してくるかもしれないぜ。ジョージ兄さん、注意して。
じゃあ、行くよ。
Tried to open it, but immediately felt hard resistance to the lock. Natsuhi took out the bundle of keys from her pocket and gave them to George. There were about 10 keys. None of us had a clue which was which. Because of this, George had to fumble around loudly and test several of the keys. Nice and stealthy. Since we had hidden our footsteps, preparing to make a surprise attack on this room, this felt almost fatal. The whole time, we could hear Maria's voice from the parlor, singing the same song over and over. It was like a broken, crazy cassette tape. In the morning, we had been in this room the whole time. All of the frightening things had occurred outside that room. So, we had convinced ourselves that even if nowhere else could be trusted, that room alone was safe. That baseless impression was quickly falling apart.
開いた。
ありがとう。ジョージ君とジェシカは後ろに下がって。
おばさん、一気に飛び込んで左右に分かれよ。
Yep.
扉を開けてボサッとしてたら、例のアイスピックがど真ん中に飛んでくるかもしれねえぜ。
承知しています。いいですか？
やっぱ嫌だって言いてえな。
Nothing get the blood pumping like mortal danger. I readied myself. If they're gonna throw ice picks at me, we'll see how they like my candlestick.
行きます！
Natsuhi and I rammed into the door as we flew into the parlor. Quickly, splitting up left and right and searching the parlor for someone who might be waiting for us. Oh, but our eyes landed upon it was an altogether outlandish scene. Ooh! Messy! The parlor was stained with blood. This place, where we had spent almost the entire day, where we had pressed in together to protect ourselves from some unknown malice, had become stained with fresh blood and had become an ocean of blood. The floor lay Genji-san, Kumasawa-san, Dr. Nanjo, their entire bodies stained bright red with blood. The only way we could identify them was by their clothes. That was because... that's right. This is how this whole tragedy started. Their faces were mashed up, like Dad and the others in the storehouse. We couldn't even tell where the eyes and noses were. Ooh, grody. It was like someone had vulgarly gobbled apart tomatoes. What? Gobbled apart a tomato pot stew wrapped in a pie crust. All goopy and sloppy. That wasn't all. Bodies had other wounds. They were those demons' ice picks. They were in Genji-san's stomach, Dr. Nanjo's thigh. No, his knee? Yeah, it would be his knee. The epitaph, the sixth twilight was the stomach. On the seventh twilight, it said it gouged the knee. After seeing one of them stuck near Kumasawa Bachan's calf, I couldn't help but masochistically yelling, "Yeah, of course it would be!" On the sixth twilight, it gouged the stomach and kill. On the seventh twilight, gouged the knee and kill. On the eighth twilight, gouged the leg and kill. Now even the eighth twilight is over. And the next one, the ninth twilight, what was it again? Praise my name? Maria, it was there. Yeah, that sure is Maria. She was facing the far wall, standing stock still, completely alone. Facing away from this horrible scene, standing in front of the wall, singing her song over and over. There was nothing else in the room. Just the corpses of 3 people that had been brutally killed, and the receiver still off its hook, showing that it had been this room that the call had come from. Just that and Maria, and back to the scene, facing the wall as she kept on singing. Couldn't even scream at this bizarre scene. He could only stare shocked, her mouths hanging loosely open. Jessica called out to her. Maria showed no reaction. Alone, she kept on singing, on and on. We had come here trying to save Maria from some approaching danger. So now that we had found her, we should have been running up to her, hugging her, joyous that she was safe. And yet, not one of us could do that. Everyone thought it, but they couldn't say it. After all, because... That's right, it's crazy, and yet... No, it couldn't be.
Maria! 歌うのをやめろ!
Yeah, quit being a little fucking weirdo.
聞いてるのか?
At some point, Natsuhi and I had pointed our weapons at Maria's back. They yelled at Maria in a violent voice. There was no reaction. She just kept singing. The candlestick still ready. I ran up to her and forcefully, violently slammed my hand down on her shoulder. And I pulled on her shoulder, forcing her to turn around. Maria's small body was quickly pulled down and fell. And, so unhappy about how her singing had been interrupted, she looked into my face with her usual expression. Even in this gruesome situation, she was still like normal.
Maria!
Being normal is abnormal in this situation.
誰がやった?
ベアトリーチェ。
いい加減にしろ!
I threw the candlestick I had been holding against the wall. The violence of that reckless sound should have gone straight into Maria's heart. Her expression didn't change at all.
よすんだバトラ君。マリアちゃん、今度こそ君は3人を殺す犯人の顔を見たはずだよ。
Yeah, it was Beatrice. We were just over this.
犯人は君に手紙を渡したというベアトリーチェなのかい?
Duh.
ベアトリーチェ。
ああ、ならこれで確定したぜ。19人目はいるんだよ。ベアトリーチェは実在するんだ。
Well, that triggers some process of elimination.
じゃあマリア、これくらいは教えてくれるよな。奴はこの3人をどうやって殺したんだ？何をどうやったらあんなむごい殺し方ができるんだ？
知らない。
知らねえってことはねえだろ。
Yeah, and Beatrice just probably said, hey, face the wall and sing a song.
この部屋での出来事だぞ。歌を歌うのに夢中で気づかなかったとか言い出すんじゃねえだろうな。
落ち着いてバトラ君。マリアちゃん、僕とお話ししようね。
George and Nikki, as they always did, crouched down next to Maria so that their eyes met and talked to her very
マリ
kindly.
アちゃんはどうして壁を向いてお歌を歌っていたのかな？
ベアトリーチェはここでね、壁を向いてお歌をずっと歌っていなさいって言ったの。
じゃあベアトリーチェがここへやってきたんだね。その時にはまだ源氏さんたちは生きていたんだよね。
みんなで客間に来て座ってた。源氏さんはちゃんと鍵をかけてたよ。
確かに鍵はかかってたが、じゃあどうやってベアトリーチェは客間に入ってきたってんだよ。
I mean, there's a lot of windows to this room.
でもベアトリーチェは魔女だから鍵少女になって扉の隙間から通り抜けてきたんだよ。
That's either a really big crack in the door or some tiny butterflies.
はあ？冗談も休み休み言いやがれ。そんなわけねえだろ。お前は何を言ってやがるんだ。
信じられないよね。
Nope.
だから言いたくなかった。
It was CG. She was CG.
どうせ言っても信じないの。
All smoke and mirrors.
でもベアトリーチェは魔女なの。
But witches don't exist.
思議な魔法で何でもできるの。だからベアトリーチェは鍵のかかった扉なんか全然関係ないんだよ。
それで現れたベアトリーチェは、そしてみんなは。
ベアトリーチェは言ったよ。
Oh, about
お
what?
じい様の書斎は強力な力に守られていてどうしても入れない。だからあと3人の生贄はこの客間の4人の中から選ぶって。みんな嫌だって言ったよ。熊沢さんは嫌だ嫌だってすごい言ってた。でもベアトリーチェは選ぶよ。
I mean, you have been a good little minion, so I don't think it was entirely random.
そしたらね、ベアトリーチェはマリアはいいよって言ってくれたの。
Yeah, 'cause you believe.
どうしてだと思う？バトラがマリアの安全を祈って念を込めてくれたあの火星の5の魔法陣のサソリのお守りがあったから
That's
だ
good.
よ。だからその力でベアトリーチェはマリアにだけは何もできなかった。
I mean, you probably would have been fine either way.
だから生贄はマリアじゃない3人に決まったの。そしたらね、ベアトリーチェはね言ったの。
さあさあ、壁に向かってお歌を歌って聞かせなさい。あなたはたくさんたくさんお歌を歌うから、何が起こって何が聞こえても
Mhm.
聞こえない
Get that
聞こえ
plausible
ない
deniability in
わから
court.
ない。さあさあ、楽しいお歌をわらわにたくさん聞かせておくれ。
だからマリアはずっとお歌を歌ってた。ずっと歌ってたんだよ。だから何も聞こえないわからない。
Uh huh.
そ
So
し
there's
たら
no
バ
point
トラたちが
fucking
やって
badgering
き
you
た
with
んだよ。
questions.
それを信じろってのか？バカにするんじゃねえぜ。
じゃあ今度は誰を疑う？
Well,
マリアを疑う？マリアをこの場で殺してみる？そんなことしてもベアトリーチェはいなくならない。
she exists in your heart.
これで第8の番は終わったよ。ベアトリーチェは蘇る。
ふざけんな。もうそんな話は金輪際ごめんだぜ。魔女なんているもんか。煙に巻かれてたまるか。
Yeah, witches ain't real.
俺は認めねえぞ。ベアトリーチェなんていいねえ。絶対に俺が認めねえ。だから存在なんかさせねえ。蘇りもさせねえ。伝説は永遠に伝説のままだ。
Hell yeah.
この俺がそんなことを認めね
よせよバトラ。マリアが殺したわけでも見殺しにしたわけでもない。
I mean, she kinda did. Not like she could have done anything about it, but
ベアトリーチェが来てマリアは抵抗できず従わざるを得なかっただけだぜ。
あれ、夏日おばさん？おばさんがいない。
well,
あれ。
that's an issue.
母さん
Did she at least leave the gun?
さっき手紙を読みながら一人で出て行ったよ。
Letter. That makes sense. The culprit's done with the 8th Twilight, and it's all gone swimmingly for them. They might as well have left a letter so they could brag even more. We've been so wrapped up in questioning Maria that we forgot to look for one. But even as well-armed as she was, why had she left the room all by herself in this dangerous mansion after reading it? Jessica tried to chase after her and tugged at the handle of the door, but it resisted strangely and wouldn't open.
母さんお母さん何これ。開けて開けて。
It's only natural. Natsuhi had picked up the candlestick, which Beatrice had, which Battler had thrown at the wall, and which had fallen to the floor. She had then skillfully wedged it in between the doorknobs on the double door like a bolt, holding them closed. Oh, from the outside? Yeah, that would do it. The intricate design of the candlestick meant it jammed well, and formed a truly sturdy seal on the door. The tragic scream of a daughter for her mother. Did it reach Natsuhi's ears or not? Natsuhi was alone in the entrance hall. It was the place where the portrait of Beatrice had been hung. Natsuhi threw down the final letter from Beatrice that she had read in the parlor, readied her rifle again, in a voice that rang clear, yelled in the massive space that was the entrance hall.
後宮家代表後宮夏日です。姿を見せなさい、黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ。
The entrance hall was dimly lit, other than a faint light from which shone on the center of the room. Everything was blotted out by the jet-black darkness. In that darkness, butterflies glittering in gold swarmed, twinkled, and sneered. Natsuhi gave one more huge gulp and pointed the cold barrel of the gun at the golden butterflies.
ようやく姿を現しましたね。あなたのような存在が本当に存在したなんて私は未だ信じることができない。でもそれは問題ではありません。後宮家の代表であると自負する私と、後宮家の当主を引き継いだと自称するあなたが、
Only one way this is
今こ
gonna
の場
end.
にいる。あなたが本当に魔女なのかどうかは今となっては些細な問題です。さあ決着をつけましょう。後宮家を真に引き継ぐ者はどちらか。この後宮夏日か、あなたベアトリーチェか。
Well, you have a gun.
あなたの決闘の申し出、謹んでお引き受けさせていただきます。
It's not gonna be that simple. Oh. Just invert those colors. Hit us with that negative. The gold butterfly slowly formed a human shape, which walked into the dim light. Natsuhi readied the rifle and glared. The witch raised her golden staff overhead and laughed. Natsuhi's finger slowly squeezed the trigger. Valor made an all-out dash at the door and rammed into it, crushing the candlestick which had been barring it, making it possible for a big gap to be opened in the door. He kept kicking the candlestick through the gap, and the door had finally released. At the time, they heard it. They clearly heard, just once, the crisp sound of gunfire.
ジェシカちゃん、一人で先走っちゃいけない。
Yep.
今のは銃声だぜ。夏代おばさんが撃ったんだ。
At who? At the culprit! The noise had come from the entrance hall. The entrance hall looked like a stage. Like the heroine of a tragedy, lying down and bathed in light. Ranged in the beauty of that silence, Natsuhi was face up, crumpled on the floor. Half crazed, Jessica ran up to Aunt Natsuhi. On her forehead, it was almost as though a sparkling shard of a pigeon's blood. What? Pigeon's blood ruby had been placed there. What the fuck is a pigeon's blood ruby? And from it, a single stream of blood makeup passed by her eye and began to traverse her face. The faint smell of gunpowder smoke came from the barrel of the rifle on Natsuhi. It was still grasped. Huh? Then she shot herself in the forehead? Probably not with that. It would be a... most lever actions like that, let's just ballpark it and say either 357 or 44 Magnum. Because who knows? Who knows what it is? Decent-sized entry wound from that close. Exit wound, she wouldn't have a back of a head anymore. Why?
Why? どうしておばさんは一人で抜け出して、どうして自分の額を撃ち抜いてるんだよ。
マリアちゃん、夏日おばさんは手紙を読んでから部屋を出たんだよね。手紙がない。くそ、おばさんは何を読んで、どうしてここに誘い出されたんだ。
知らねえぜ、知らねえぜ。
Jessica clung to her mother's corpse, crying earnestly. My body consumed by an anger I didn't know what to do with, I stole the rifle from Natsuhi's hand, spun around, pointing the barrel of the gun into the darkness on all sides, as though I was pointing a light from a lighthouse trying to find the culprit. George Aniki, even in this situation, was trying to calmly figure out something. That effort might have been doomed to futility. Maria alone was completely indifferent. She's treating this like some kind of predetermined fate? No, that's not it. This is all prelude to a wonderful world. The door to the Golden Land will finally open.
第9の晩に魔女は蘇り、誰も生き残れはしない。そして第10の晩に旅は終わり、黄金の里へ至るだろう。これで全部終わったね、ベアトリーチェ。
I mean, there's still the three, well, I guess 4. It's hard to include you though in this group area of victims still running around.
おめでとう、おめでとう。
Unless for some reason they don't count.
だからマリアを導いて、あなたの話してくれた黄金鏡へ、今こそ。
There, all the dead would be resurrected. Even the love they once possessed will be revived. So in Maria's eyes, it's just as though all of today's tragedies never even happened. All those days she spent derived of love never happened either.
いい加減にしやがれ。何が楽しい、何がおめでたい。この島には18人いた。14人死んだ。残りは俺たち4人だ。
Oh yeah, hey Battler, you should probably cycle that rifle. It's a lever action, so it's just sitting there with the empty casing in the chamber.
俺は絶対に死なねえぞ。夜が明けるまで。いや。
Otherwise, when the time comes that you're gonna need to use it, you're just gonna get...
島に海猫たちが帰ってくるまで、俺は絶対に死なねえんだよ。生き残ってやる、生き残ってやる、絶対。
よしなよバトラー。ベアトリーチェに銃なんて意味ないよ。
clearly.
それに生き残るも何ももうおしまいなんだよ。もう旅は終わったんだよ。ほら時計を見てごらん。
Oh, did the date change over? Huh? The clock. Hearing those words, I looked at my wristwatch. Both hands were almost touching near the top. Very soon, it'll be 12 a.m. In other words, 2400. When you think about it, isn't 2400 a strange time? It can't be called 2400, and it can also be called, just 0. Just call it midnight. And then times after that, midnight 10, midnight 30, etc., etc. It's an hour at the accumulation of the previous day. At the same time, it's an hour 0 as the next day begins. Maria suddenly called out happily and ran towards the darkness. It was almost as though Beatrice was somewhere in that darkness, and Maria was running up to her. As I looked down at the barrel of the rifle, Jessica hugged her mother's corpse. As George Aniki stood there shocked, we gazed into the darkness. Our eyes fixed just in front of Beatrice's portrait. And there, Maria leapt into a hug with the portrait's subject. You gotta be kidding me. This is ridiculous, impossible. This madness can't possibly be. Witches don't exist. I won't accept it. Looks like you must not exist, because this is a human world. You think I could accept something that's not human? Never. I will never. Pulled hard on the rifle's lever. The cartridge was ejected, fell on the floor, and a new cartridge was loaded. Thank you. Then I sighted the witch down the barrel. Maria turned around. Still clinging to the golden witch, she turned around.
だから意味なんてないってば。
You gotta try for yourself.
ベアトリーチェに鉛玉なんて意味ないってば。バカだね、人間は。
俺は魔女なんて認めねえぞ。貴様は誰だ。一歩でも動いてみろ。指一本でも動かしてみろ。こいつをぶち込んでやる。
Creepy little shit. A little bit of stereo there. Laughter of the witch. Of the witches, was joined by the laughter of an even... What? The laughter of even the large clock in the hall. It's probably telling us that the time was 2400. It's both a tone telling us that we had reached the culmination of this day, and the tone informing us all had returned to nothing. The rules had specified that the witch would win when time ran out.
ジョージお兄ちゃんにジェシカお姉ちゃん
Good effort.
旅は終わって
GG.
魔女は蘇ったよ
And none shall be left alive. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. One shall be all of the Golden Land's gold. One resurrects all the dead people's souls. One even revives all the love they possessed. And one for the witch to eternal rest. Rest in peace, my beloved witch Beatrice. Or some would say, Beatrice. Well, that was something. There we go. Is that episode 1? Do I have to hit enter? Or are we going to be sitting around for all 12 dings of the clock? Notebook pages and a wine bottle. That's a weird title for a chapter. Oh! The storm passed, and the leaden clouds that had enshrouded the island for so long began to clear away. Sunbeams shone from the rift between the clouds. Yesterday's storm seemed like a lie. Just as someone had wished, the seagulls returned to the harbor once again and let their lively cries be heard. Afterwards, the police arrived and conducted an investigation of the scene. The corpses of the children, who were believed to have survived until the very end, were never found. However, from the body parts that were discovered and an unimaginably gruesome nature of the scene, the police were forced to conclude that the chance of survival of any of the 18, including the children, were hopelessly dim. Just how gruesome was that banquet of the witch? How beautiful was the Golden Land? Those tales are for them alone, to tell amongst themselves. They have no tale for those who arrived at the banquet had ended. And words! One can only but imagine what transpired during the course of those 2 days. However, the witch was fickle. She made a point to leave behind this tale, which had no toll permitted to spread. Oh God! A few years later, a strange wine bottle drifted on the waves of the I don't know that word, of a neighboring island received by the fishermen. Stuff inside was a tightly rolled notebook, pages crammed full of the edges of minuscule writing. Written there was this tale. It would be as though the pages of the first kind riddled nature. October 4th. The incident would later be referred to as the Rokenjima mass murder, the 18 killings of Rokenjima, but some serial murder case. Lovers of the occult claims in words. However, not one of those interpretations arrived at the truth of the facts. And whilst the notebook pages tell of the mysterious incident, they do not tell one truth behind it. In fact, the writer of the notebook knew the truth. Perhaps she had the desire to know. According to the writer's signature, his name was Maria. Furthermore, as a result of an all-out police search, the part of Maria's body had been discovered, a piece of her jaw. Rare instances were identified through dental records, and many parts linked to unspecific person gruesome cases. Because the jaw had been separate from the body, the police consider a chance of survival to be hopelessly dim. Let's conclude this tale with the final paragraph of the notebook pages that Ushimiya left behind. By the time you read this, I'll probably be dead, although there may or may not be a corpse. You who read this, please uncover the truth. That is my only wish. Ushimiya Maria. To this very day, the truth of the witch legend serial murder case has not been brought to light. First game, Legend of the Golden Witch results. Kraus died. Rudolph died. Rosa died. Kyrie died. Shannon died. Yoda died. Ava died. Hideyoshi died. Kinzo died. Kennen died. Genji died. Nanjo died. Kumasawa died. The witch, Beatrice, revived in the 9th twilight. She'll finally open the door to the Golden Land. Natsuhi died. George, missing. Jessica, missing. Maria, missing. Presumed dead, though. Battler, missing. He denied the existence of the witch. Is she invited into the Golden Land? The witch shall praise the wise, and the four treasures grant the Golden Land. They will revive the souls of the dead and the love they possessed. Because what they desire will not be granted from a mountain of gold, no matter how high. For George, his lost fiancée. For Jessica, her lost loved one. For Maria, the lost love of her mother. Rest in peace, Beatrice. May your slumber not be disturbed. Winners, Beatrice. On the 18, none of them got the gold. All 18 died. When the seagulls cried, none were left alive. GG. Easy. Yes, Ree? Oh. Yeah, because if this is, same setting as Higurashi, we got world lines, baby! Shards! New elements added. The Golden Witch has prepared a gift in commemoration of your recent sojourn. The new elements may be accessed from the title screen. Neat! I love gifts. Let's see what we got. Ooh, tea party. That's something. That's sure is something. Picture box? The Golden Witch has gifted you with a picture box. I hope they will stop by to view it as a memento of your sojourn on Rokkenjima. Is that a CG gallery? Music box, of course. Jukebox. Yep. CG gallery. Jukebox, and I'm pretty sure the tea party is like a intermission chapter where, things get ready for the next chapter. But anyway, we will do the tea party next time before moving on to episode 2? Question mark? No? Oh, I probably have to do the tea party first. If I click on it, yeah, tea party episode 1. Alrighty then. Well, I will see you all next time where we will do a tea party episode 1. And depending on the length of it, possibly the first part of episode 2. So once again, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell. I'll see you all next time for the next episode of Umineko. See you there. Bye.